Just the other day, I was looking through a box of photographs. I seen your smiling face, and a laugh that made me wanna cry. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Dean Vaughn from the Dean Vaughn Podcast Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hope everyone's doing awesome out there. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a song I wrote back in the early 80s called Can't Keep My Eyes Off of You. And what inspired me about this song is at some point, and I think in a relationship or people's lives, we lose somebody. If you listen to the lyrics, it's pretty much about somebody who's left or passed away. And I was reflecting back on my past of somebody who wasn't there, and you're looking through a box of photographs and you're going, wow, good times. And then you're at the dinner table and that person's not there. So, if you listen to the lyrics, I'm talking about, looking across from you and there's nobody there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I got started writing that song. And I wrote the song on an acoustic guitar. And a lot of times I'll start writing by a rhythm or a beat. Or sometimes I'm playing around with the upper register in my acoustic guitar. Some triads and doing some minors and majors and trying some sevenths and ninths out and, just getting into some chord progressions. And this song was pretty straightforward in the key of D major. Fairly simple song, and you can really take one chord and make it many different sounds or variations of the D major chord, whether it be a suspended fourth or you're playing a ninth or a sixth in there. But you can really, when you're on the guitar, as most of you guitar players know, you can really take a song and really mess around. I happen to have my 12 string on right now, and so when I was playing this song, I kind of started off with a rhythm. So me being a drummer, you hear the accents in the chord progression. Plus, I'm doing a palm mute on the bridge, and so kind of just I like a lot of muted chords because I'm a singer, so I like to sing on the top of while the music's going on, and I like a little breathing room to sing softer or sing dynamically. And so on this particular song, I'm kind of starting off real light. Pretty chords, all in the key of D. And so I'm really thinking of chord progression. I'm thinking of drum beat, straight drum beat, crashes, in the beginning, and then getting right into the meat of the song as quickly as possible. And back in the recording industry, you're talking with the record companies and the A&R reps, and they're saying, hey man, get to the hook of the song. Within the first 10, 15 seconds. They're pretty much either turning off the tape recorder. That was back in the 80s. I'm talking about a cassette tape recorder. And I've been to many music writing showcases where you're sitting with about 50 or 60 different writers, or 100 or more. And you have the record execs up at the front, critiquing your music. And they kind of spin a wheel and pull a number and pull a tape and listen to it. And nobody knows what they're listening to, but they'll critique the song. Only the writer knows, what song that is. And I remember back in the day, they'd pull a song and they'd be playing it, and I'm incognito in the audience listening to them critique my song. And one of the things I came up with, they really liked R&B and they really liked blues and all that. And I was a pretty much straight pop writer back in the day. commercial pop music. I did some blues and things like that, but when I was writing pretty straightforward. So when I wrote Can't Keep My Eyes Off of You, I just really liked the sound, first of the 12-string guitar. And I just, what a pretty chord that is, you know, and then bringing it down to another. And it just follows the melody. It almost leads me into the melody of the song. Like,
just the other day, I was looking through a box of photographs. I seen your smiling face and a laugh made me want to cry.
you know, it kind of just takes you down that path melodically, and for me vocally. And then I started coming up with the words, and I probably just hummed that. You know, I'm thinking back when I wrote that song, I was probably doing something like this. You know, I'm hearing that melody, man, and I'm going, wow. And then I'm starting to paraphrase, you know, where I'm breaking up lyrics, I'm writing a story, and then I break the words up so they fit in the chord progression. So that's kind of, I wanted to talk a little bit how that song got created and how I came about that first verse, you know, and how I end up into a bridge or a chorus. And so I'm very, what I call staccato. Some people have a different meaning of staccato, but very rhythmic, straightforward. And I'm opening up on the outside of the guitar, so I'm hearing the last few, so I can knock out those last three notes and just do. And then I break it open with a D, open D major. D major with a C bass, and then G. Right, so very simple. Back to C. And then of course the chorus.
Off of you, got a picture of you in my eye. Can't keep my eyes off of you. Got a picture of you in my mind.
You know, I kind of screwed up there, but you know, that's you get the picture. You get the picture. So I'm opening up so I can come back to this. So there's a contrast in the song. Kind of when you get quiet, people start to listen, and that's kind of the way I write. I get quiet sometimes, and you know, you listen to the stereo, you turn up the volume. What is he saying right there? What's he talking about? And then I open it up again.
Can't keep my eyes off of you. Got a picture of you in my mind.
And back into it. I just love that song. That song is being aired worldwide on Touch Tunes, which is a jukebox company, and they had a contest going on, and I submitted that song, and it got stuck there, and I found out later that it was on, you know, that jukebox is in 60,000. This is about a few years ago. 60,000 jukeboxes, Canada and USA. And then, of course, I released it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Unlimited, and all the rest of the music streaming sites out there. Spotify, I really like Spotify. They keep all my tunes in line, you know. They play what I want to play. So, kudos to Spotify out there. So, to me, that song was just very commercial, but not because I wrote it that way. I did write it from personal experience. But give that song a listen. In fact, I might just play it right now for you, and we'll give it a little spin at full volume, and hope you like it.
Just the other day, I was looking through a box of photographs. I seen your smiling face, and it left, it made me wanna cry. Yeah. All alone at night, going through all those memories. By the candlelight, in an empty chair right across from me. Yeah. Though I never thought a woman like you could mean so much. Yeah. Until suddenly she was gone. She was gone. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. No, I never thought a woman like you could mean so much. Yeah. Until suddenly she was gone. She was gone. Yeah. All alone at night, going through all those memories, baby. By the candlelight, an empty chair right across from me. Yeah. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Can't keep my eyes off of you. I got a picture of you in my mind. Oh. Just the other day, I was looking through a box of photographs.
Man, still love to sing that song. Can't Keep My Eyes Off of You by Dean Vaughn. Man, that song was written in the early 80s. Still like to listen to it. You know, I've written over 100 songs, and that's one of the ones I really like to play back and listen to. It's got a lot of great parts in it. And that's coming from a songwriter, you know. I'd like to hear your unbiased view and listen, give it a spin, and give me your feedback on my website, which is over on deanvaughnmusic.com. And you can leave me a message anywhere, anywhere streaming media sites are. So I really appreciate your feedback on that. And back to when I wrote that song, the players on that were very instrumental. Excuse the pun. So we had Mark Canaday on bass guitar, and this is during the late Aftershock, early Danger years. And we had Denny Barry from Pasadena, great guitar player, great imagination. Denny was in the music business for a long time. He used to work with the rock group Wasp, and he was one of the stagehands for Chris Holmes, the guitar player for Wasp. And Denny was his guitar tech. And Denny's also a very awesome guitar player. And I remember on many occasions Chris would come to our rehearsal, One night he brought Lita Ford down. That was very fun. He was dating Lita Ford right after she was dating Tony from Black Sabbath. And Chris and Lita come walking in our rehearsal studio, and they said, "Do you mind if we sit and listen?" And I said, "Of course not." So they sat in the corner, and I looked over and said, "Man, that's Lita. That's Lita Ford and Chris Holmes." Checking out our rehearsal. And we were getting ready for a New Year's Eve bash down on Orange Grove in California, where they do the not the Super Bowl, where they do the Rose Bowl. And those were exciting times back then for rock and roll as well. And Wasp was at the top of their game. And so Chris would come over once in a while because he was good friends with Denny. And I kind of now I know where Denny got his guitar style from. He was very inventive. So he wrote the lead guitar solo for that song. And we had at the time, oh boy, who do we have on? How do you like that? I got to think about who was playing drums. We had Ed Bazzovi was playing drums for the group for a long time. We had a couple different drummers, but Ed was very consistent, and he looked the part, And the women loved Ed Bazzovi. They'd come in, and he would just be surrounded by women. And that's a whole nother story. When I picked up Ed one day, he was at a nightclub, and I was looking for a drummer, and I saw this guy at the Green Door in Claremont or Montclair? I always get the two mixed up. California. The Green Door is where a lot of bands got launched from. Chili Peppers, Poison, to mention a few. And I said, "Man, that guy's got a lot of chicks around him. I'll bet you he's a drummer." So I walk into the Green Door, and I just so happened to need a drummer, and I said, "Hey man, excuse me." I go, "What do you play?" He goes, "I'm a drummer." I go, "Well, I thought so." And I go, "Who are you playing with right now?" He goes, "Well, I'm in L.A. My drums are set up in L.A. in a rehearsal studio somewhere." And he goes, "But I'm not happy with the band. The singer's an alcoholic. Guitar player's a cokehead." He goes, "Man, I'm just tired of these guys, We're not going anywhere." And this is about 10 o'clock at night. I go, "Ed, let's go pick up your drums and move them into my studio, like right now." So I do it. I'm hanging out with these chicks and watching the band. I go, "All right, well, when you leave, let's go do it." And he agreed. And that night we went and picked up his drums, threw them in the back of my truck. And I had him in my studio the next morning when the band came in. I go, "Hey, we got a new drummer." And Ed was with me in Danger for the next, few years, 4, 5, 6 years. We did some recordings together, a lot of great concerts together. And so that was the makeup. And then we had, Denny Barry, Ed Bazzovi, Mark Canada, and Dean Vaughn. And so we had all the components in place and started writing real heavy. And I think "Can't Keep My Eyes Off of You" was one of the first songs we wrote. And then I'm thinking about doing a podcast and talk about each song in the catalog, how they all got started. So today I wanted to talk about "Can't Keep My Eyes Off of You" because it's getting a lot of play right now. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, Amazon Unlimited. I just checked my world chart the other day, and even Japan's playing it. We had a few dozen plays in Japan, Italy, Russia, Greenland, Canada, United States, of course. But there's about 8 countries playing that song right now, so it's getting a lot of airplay. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting this podcast out there to help promote the songs. That's why I started doing the podcast, is to help my music career along and to interview other musicians as well. So chime in if you want to be a part of my podcast show in the future. Just let me know. Send an email out to me if you don't want to jump on social media. Either to Dean at deanvaughnmusic.com or info at deanvaughnmusic.com. You can also go to the website deanvaughnmusic.com. And there you'll find the latest podcast, any new releases I'm putting up there, And I just started my merch store 2 days ago. I don't have a lot of merch on there right now, but I do have my podcast shirt available. Of course, as soon as I get some bulk vendors, I'm going to lower the prices on a lot of that stuff. But there is a shirt available if you want to pick it up. So anyway, I'm going to keep this podcast kind of light today, and I just wanted to get it out there. And I'm going to try to do these I'm thinking every week. I might do them on a Monday and release sometime midweek and have them available every weekend. It's a little easier for me to do it that way because sometimes on the weekends I'm gone. Although ultimately I'd love to do it on Saturdays and Sundays because that's when people are available. So I want to thank you for listening to my podcast show. And if you'd like to catch the next episode, please click on the subscribe button. And you can always visit my website at www.deanvaughnmusic.com, where my latest podcast and links to all of my music is available. So be good people and be happy. Stay healthy and enjoy your lives to the max. This is Dean Vaughn signing out.